If you regularly cut your sleep down to 5 or 6 hours, you probably feel a little groggy in the morning. But inside your skull, the physical consequence is immediate. You are physically degrading your very own brain tissue. When sleep is restricted, researchers have observed a significant thinning of the myelin sheath, the fatty insulation that keeps neural signals firing correctly. This degradation slows signal transmission between the two hemispheres of the brain by a massive 33%. Despite this, we continue to treat sleep as an optional luxury. We rely on caffeine and willpower to bridge the gap, assuming our bodies will simply adapt to a shorter schedule. To find the actual limit of that adaptation, scientists conducted a massive dose-response meta-analysis, tracking the cardiovascular and all-cause mortality of over 3.8 million people. This data proves that human biology cannot be negotiated. We are going to use these 3.8 million data points to dismantle the 3 deadliest lies we tell ourselves about rest. The first lie is the idea that you can force your brain to focus through sheer effort. We assume if we stay upright and keep our eyes open, we are still in control. Researchers at MIT tested this by tracking brain activity and fluid dynamics during sleep deprivation. They hooked up participants to EEG monitors to see what actually happens the moment a person's attention starts to slip. Normally, in deep sleep, cerebral fluid pulses through your brain to clear out toxic waste. When sleep-deprived, your body attempts this maintenance while awake. Massive waves suddenly surge, violently interrupting the electrical firing of your neurons. That zoned-out feeling isn't a lack of effort. It's the physical sensation of your brain forcibly prioritizing self-cleaning over your external attention. You cannot power through these lapses. Your brain is essentially hijacking your consciousness to perform a forced shutdown for emergency maintenance. The second lie is that if missing sleep is dangerous, then getting as much as possible is the ultimate recovery strategy. A global meta-analysis of 71 different cohort studies plotted mortality risk against sleep duration to find the exact threshold where the body begins to fail. This chart tracks the risk for short sleepers. Getting under 7 hours of sleep a night increases your risk of all-cause mortality and cardiovascular disease by 14%. But the risk doesn't just flatten out as you sleep more. Every hour past the 7.5-hour mark, which the data identifies as the optimal inflection point, the risk climbs again. Long sleepers, those getting over 9 hours, face a 34% increase in mortality risk. This U-shaped curve isn't just about the heart. Researchers found a similar pattern for incident dementia. In fact, a high sleep regularity index, keeping a consistent wake time, was a stronger predictor of a healthy brain than the total hours slept. Sleep is a biological drug. Like any medication, it has a narrow therapeutic window. Deviating in either direction leads to systemic stress and long-term health decline. That brings us to the most common habit in modern society: surviving the work week on a sleep deficit and attempting to pay it off by sleeping in on Saturday. There is a very specific limit to this strategy. For those sleep-deprived during the week, sleeping in a maximum of 2 extra hours helps rescue insulin sensitivity and restore metabolic balance. But look at the metabolism of people who sleep in for more than 2 hours. The insulin resistance spikes sharply. This social jet lag creates a metabolic mismatch that is actually more damaging than if you hadn't attempted to catch up on sleep at all. Binge sleeping doesn't cancel out a chronic debt. It's a metabolic hazard that further disrupts the body's internal clock. Optimizing your health requires shifting focus from a weekly average of hours to the strict biological rhythm of the daily clock. Based on the 3.8 million person dataset, here is the prescription. Rule 1. Target exactly 7.5 hours of sleep. This is the precise inflection point where cardiovascular and all-cause mortality risk is at its lowest. Rule 2. Prioritize regularity. Maintaining a consistent wake time every day, even on weekends, protects your brain's white matter and is one of our best defenses against incident dementia. Rule 3. Respect the 2-hour catch-up limit. If you have to sleep in, set an alarm to ensure you don't drift into the social jet lag zone that impairs your insulin sensitivity. Most of us spend our lives trying to outsmart our own biology, but these rules are non-negotiable. How many of you are currently sitting in that 7.5-hour sweet spot? Share your nightly average in the comments below.